Welcome to another episode of Heart to Heart with Bree. I'm here with my friends Stephanie and Sonia. Please introduce yourselves to the viewers.
Sonia Wilson.
And Stephanie Lopez.
Well, last week I had a great time with you guys, and our topic was what is mature dating? So we've carried it over for a second week. So this is part two. I would like to say to the viewers if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to post them. And, we would love your feedback. I mean, this is an important topic. And, when we get to a certain age, there are lessons that we should have learned by now. There are behaviors that should have changed by now. We should have a whole new way of thinking, not like when we were like 15 and 16 years old. It's a whole different ball game. So I would like your opinion on that before we jump into it.
Um, and definitely it is so. As we get older, our experiences are what we use to influence or to teach our children. So we hope that whatever we have learned, not everybody has the same experience.
Right.
So we hope that whatever we will share, our experience will impact somebody.
Yes.
Well, we know that in these days, life is different. Even for us as youngsters in our 20s, it's totally different for a youngster in her 20s today.
Yes.
And our people's outlook is totally different to how we were brought up. But the wonderful thing is that because of our years, we have the
Cumulative.
privilege of the experience to know exactly where what where we're at, what we want to do, and what we expect from people around us and ourselves.
Yes. Yes. Well, I'll begin with reading First Corinthians 6:19. And then after that, Sonia, I'd like you to read First James 22 through 25. And Stephanie, I'd like you to read Galatians 5:22 through 33. I sent that to you guys earlier.
Okay.
Okay. And just tell me how can we relate it to the topic. So
Okay.
Okay. Could
And
you
yes, that.
repeat mine again?
first James 1:22 through 25.
Okay,
And
thank you.
mine as well. Galatians
Yours is
5.
Galatians 5:22 through 33. I don't think it's let me make sure I gave you the right because I don't think it was that many verses. Let me take a quick look.
Well, it's only 26 verse. Hold on.
22 through 23. I was working earlier when I wrote this down. That's why I knew it wasn't that many. So 22 through 33. I mean, through 23. I'm sorry.
22, 20. Yeah.
Galatians 5:22 through 23 for you.
Okay.
Okay, so I will start with First Corinthians 6:19. What? Know ye that your body is the temple of the Holy Ghost, which is in you, and which ye should have from God, and that ye are not your own. I think we could definitely apply that to mature dating.
Mhm.
That's right. That's right. And then I was James,
Yes.
James 2.
Let me go back to what I sent to you today. All right.
We didn't see. We're sorry we didn't see that.
Okay, so yes, it's James 1:20 through 2 through 25.
Okay. So James 1:22 to 25.
Yes.
Do not merely listen to the word and so deceive yourselves. Do what it says. Anyone who listens to the word but does not do what it says is like a man who look at his face in a mirror. and after looking at himself, goes away and immediately forget what he looks like.
Yeah.
Thank you. And would you read yours, Stephanie?
Mine is, but the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, long suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, temperance. Against such there is no law.
Amen. I'd like to welcome Colleen Watson. Thank you so much for joining us again, Colleen. And I'd like to welcome Mikey Go. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. So, as we said earlier, last week, I think we all learned a lot from each other. And, you know, this topic really has me thinking, and I'm hoping that the viewers will participate in the discussion tonight. Colleen, thank you so much for your comments last week. It really helped us and was very encouraging. So I'm going to go right to it. Who should pay for the first date?
Hmm.
Hmm. Um,
Well, that is a decision that you both
Yes,
should make.
yes,
No, you can decide, okay, I will pay, you will pay, we'll split it, whatever.
yes.
That's a decision both parties make.
I believe that the person who extended the invitation
Okay,
meal should pay. So if
okay,
you're the lady, you should take on that bill. If it's the man, you should take on that bill. But to prove himself a gentleman, he should automatically do not refuse to take on the bill. But
yes,
nowadays, they have women extending, asking for dates, so they pay. I have no issue paying.
yes.
We're going to
You
make
know,
it a habit.
I've seen quite a few videos where dates have ended up in a very horrible way because of expectations. Women have brought friends along. They expected the guy to pay for everyone's
That is
meal.
so rude too.
You
That
know,
is so
women are ordering extra meals to take home for their
unfair.
children. I
Dishes.
think that's
Yeah.
disrespectful. Personally, I don't have a problem with paying for myself on a first date because
Absolutely.
there are no expectations.
Yes.
I'm going there, hey, we'll see how it goes, but I definitely don't have a problem with paying for myself just to make sure, because you never know how people will behave.
Yeah.
And not just that, there are guys who have been known to run out on their dates
Yes.
after they've eaten the meal. So
Going to
it's
the
like, you
washroom.
know what? I don't have a problem with us having separate checks on the first
Yes.
date.
Yes. But
I
no, you,
no, but yes, I understand. If it's a first date,
Yes,
uh, as you said, whoever invites you can, but it's a decision.
yes,
I'm so independent. I've been looking after myself for so long that I always volunteer to pay for myself. It's okay.
yes,
First date, I don't know you. We're just getting on. We're just talking.
exactly.
I don't want to burden you with my expense.
and not only that, but because of the times we're living in, or
Yes,
economic crisis, things are tough. And
yes, they are.
gentlemen may not mention it to you. May have the last $20 to last any
Exactly.
gas. And
Yes.
so you have to be considerate.
Yes.
Definitely.
But it should not be a habit.
I
And
no, I definitely agree, and I think a first date, it doesn't have to be elaborate. It doesn't have to be
No,
something that's super expensive. I think you have to work your way up to that. Personally,
absolutely.
I think it's okay to do something inexpensive.
Yes. No elaborate, no expensive dish.
but a lot of pastors may tell you that a man who come up quickly and say, "I'll cover it," tells you the type of provider he will be for you if your relationship extend into marriage, or partners. It shows a lot in that way.
Yes. Well,
So
even if the guy has agreed beforehand that he will pay for the date. Ladies, always have your card,
Yes,
always have a little
yes,
cash because
that's
you
right.
never know what may happen.
Talk
And
about
I'm not being a
Ah,
pessimist, but be on the safe side.
always have your taxi fare.
Yes,
And if he gets naughty or rude with you,
yes,
you excuse yourself and you don't have to ask him anything.
that's true. I mean, because you know what? I think we have to be careful,
Yes,
especially as we're getting to know someone. And if
agree.
it's a first date, I mean, you really don't know this person, so it's better to be on the safe side. Now,
Oh,
my next question is, if the date isn't going well, is it possible to turn it around? And how can we do that?
change your conversation topic. That's one way you could do that, you know.
Yes,
Maybe talk about something that will make you laugh.
yes,
Talk about, an experience that you think it's a joint sort of something, school or friends or some job or something.
yes.
But if you start talking about, oh, could we do sex?
I will just be
Can we
blunt and
can we
say,
go out to the hotel? Say
"Mm-mm."
what?
My goodness.
My
No, I would
goodness.
ask him if obviously there's something going wrong with the date.
Hmm.
I'll kindly ask him, is there something wrong? Okay, could be
Yes.
something from the office, or he knows he has a wife and he's coming to play the game with
And feeling guilty.
you, feeling guilty,
Hmm.
But I would kindly ask him, is everything okay?
Yes.
You
Change the
I
can be
think
conversation.
I
upset.
think I would ask maybe like what are your interests?
Yes.
Things
No,
of that nature,
yes, to the point. I
Yes.
I think I'm a very sensitive person and intuitive. So if I think, let him tell me, oh no, everything is okay. Everything is okay, then we can continue.
Because you know what, I think if it's not, you'll know if there's no chemistry. But
Yes,
Yes.
I think it's not like you're planning to get married.
that's
So I
Yes.
right.
think you try to salvage the evening to the best of your ability, knowing that there won't be a second date.
There you
But
go.
I think you can still try to salvage the evening.
Yes, you can.
Yeah. Now, for older couples, should they take their time in getting to know each other, or because of their age, should they rush because they think, you know what, I'm 60 something or I'm 70, so let's hurry and do this? I mean, what's your opinion?
Whatever age you are, take it
Divide.
easy. No rush.
I agree.
10 years, you may be still around. Tomorrow, you may be gone.
Yes.
So it doesn't make sense. You rush,
Yes.
but build a proper relationship instead.
I
Let
agree.
that be your main purpose.
Yes.
I agree. I've watched so many videos on YouTube with these women who have been scammed.
Yeah.
Their savings accounts have been cleaned out because I mentioned it last week. They heard the words, I love you. And
Yeah,
sometimes, I mean, these women, I think you have to use common sense,
that's true.
and understand when you are being played for a fool. And I get it. People want to be in love, they fall in love with the fantasy, but you have to be careful.
The only thing is that being more mature, there are times that things may speed up a bit.
Yes.
Because if the personalities click, it can speed up. But I wouldn't say to rush into anything.
I definitely agree with that. And my next question is, should mature individuals date casually?
You can. If
You
it's a good friend,
you sure can, because
yeah.
we go out. This is one way of getting to know somebody.
Hmm.
Yes.
You get to know that person, and I think is a casual dating. A casual date is how we should really start off.
Hmm.
Yes, I agree. So let me ask you this. Is it okay to date more than one person casually?
Yes. Because you have no expectations. It's my friend. I'm choosing now.
Yes.
I'm going to be choosing. Do I like Tom or Dick?
Yes. It's like a getting to know you sort of thing, right?
I'm getting to know you, and you don't have any expectations of me, and I have no expectations of you. We are friends.
But
Yes.
in that case, I'll
Hmm.
go for the group setting.
You know, I think that's a good idea also. I definitely agree with you on that. So, my next question is, what role do morals and values play in senior dating? Because I think a lot of that has gone out the window nowadays. You know, you have a lot of men trying to relive their youth, you have women who they don't want a guy to turn them down. They want to do whatever it takes for a second date. So they're letting their guards down. I'm not saying in every case, but it's happening quite a bit. So when we go on this date, should our morals and values be left in the car?
Because of your maturity,
Yes.
I am expecting you to act as a mature adult.
Yes.
And certain things that you will do in your teenage years, I don't expect it from you
Hmm.
Yes, I
at
agree.
this point. So, morals and values, regardless what age, is good.
And you
But
don't have to be a Christian. You don't have to be a
no,
Christian.
no.
Please remember that.
Yes,
Yes.
those are those are the values of how you make your decisions.
Yes.
Oh,
Wise decisions.
wise decisions.
And how you gain respect.
That's it too.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes. Let's talk about the high rate of HIV and STDs
Ah,
in the senior community and why is this happening?
I think a lot of seniors are not up to date with what's happening. You know, they don't, they're not aware of maybe sexually transmitted diseases and where they can, well, some, because they should be aware of some. And when we're talking about, I mean, I'm a senior now. I am very knowledgeable about where I can gain information. But a lot of people in my age group, in our age group, don't know this. They don't follow up on where they can gain information. It's all in on the internet. So that is one of that's very important. And that's why and they believe too that because you and I are the same age, because we're going to date in our age group, right?
mhm.
um and our values is this way, they may take it that that person's value is the same and they're not sleeping around.
Yes, Colleen is saying, I think that your moral compass should dictate your expectations and behavior in dating now. And I definitely agree with that,
Yes,
Colleen.
yes.
You know, I think that you have some men out there who are deceptive and women too. They will have you thinking, you know what? I haven't slept with anyone in 10 or 20 years. And, you
Mhm.
know, the art of seduction is powerful, you know. And I think women have to really be careful when they go out. If
Yes.
you go to a man's house for dinner and, you know, candlelight, wine if you choose. Teddy Pendergrass is playing in the background. You have to stop and think, does this gentleman have an agenda? I think you really have to think it through. And especially at our age, we should have learned the lessons by now. So, you know, like you said, Sonia, I mean, it's not Sonia, Stephanie, about the information being on the internet. You know, we have to be realistic. There are diseases out there now that taking a pill or getting a shot is not going to get rid of it. It's a it's a death sentence pretty much. So I think we need to be careful. What's your opinion on that, Sonia?
Number one, many of these sexually transmitted diseases is through the years, their years,
Yes.
into seniorhood. But it also explained to us that the senior or the elderly now do have sorry, sexual needs.
Yes.
First time as youngsters we would laugh,
True.
but it's important to realize that they some people still do have those sexual needs. And like many of us, some may grow old or older than their age, while some may keep themselves fit. And you don't need anything more than that gym and exercise to give you a full blast of high libido as an adult. So, it's something, and now the nursing homes have been looking into it. And in the nursing field, you are taught that if you go into a senior's residence and a room and you see two seniors, even over 70, 80, having their personal space, you are not to disturb them, you ensure privacy, and you back yourself out and leave them alone. Once you see that the woman is not in danger. But it now we have to respect that it's a need that couple have and they're meeting it.
Should we address, though? I think we need to address the danger, and I'll use the word danger, of multiple partners. Because it's like when you sleep with a person, you're literally sleeping with everyone else that person has slept with. And especially if that person is approaching you and they're not using protection and
Mm-hmm.
they're telling you, oh, it's only because it's you, then you should have an idea that that is a line. I think we have to be careful in these decisions. I mean, at this age, who
You should.
wants to come down with an STD?
You should.
That comes in again with moral, your moral
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
compass. Because I tell you, if I went out with somebody on my first date
Hmm.
and say he brought up sex to me, I already have an X across his
Yeah,
name.
that's a red flag right there.
A red flag, And say I am seduced and I end up in bed with this person because I'm so carried away.
Mm.
That's the first and the last time. I wouldn't want him again. You know why? Because I'm going to think that the same way he seduced me to be with him, he can seduce another person to be with him.
But that's why, don't you think, like, and we discussed it last week,
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
first dates should be in a place, in a public
yes,
place, a
yes, yes.
place where there is no chances of anything like that happening.
And I
I want to
still
finish.
maintain that if the need arise and the two people want to have that sort of relationship, it doesn't matter where you are in this present time. Whether it's in the bushes, the truck back, the car back
What
seat,
I'm saying
it
that
will, it will.
if that person allow, if I am seduced to be sleeping with that person on the first, second, or third date too quickly before I establish something with him, before I'm able to set my boundaries, before I'm able to discuss likes and dislikes, and develop a good healthy relationship. Say I am doing that, I am going to, after that, I don't want that person because in addition to what I said before, I'm going to think that he's thinking that I am that easy to
No,
be with another man. And is the relationship that we should have developed is not going to be that kind
the
that
You know,
I
first,
I
want.
think at our in our age group, I
Yes,
think it's not a good thing because you meet someone and it happens quickly and then it doesn't work out. And then a few months later, you're meeting someone else. I
yes,
mean, you don't want to be going through multiple parts, in my opinion,
yes.
at this age. I think it's going to take us back to the young girl mistakes. I mean, what's your opinion on that,
the,
Sonia?
the thing of it is that we're mature. We're women with intuition.
Yes.
You're going to choose partner, although sometimes you look at them and they really give you a swift change in personality or what you think the person is. But your intuition is going to help you to choose that person who you think would have some amount of respect for you that they will think twice. Yes, at our age we can't get pregnant. So that's not an issue. So it's just we can move in and move out, no responsibility to be taken except for the STD. But you're going to be able to choose partners who at least you can say that they're decent, responsible men. You know, use your five senses. And the sixth one, God gave us another sixth one. When you meet him, you look at how he's dressed. We're not talking coat and tie or whatever, but he should be clean, smell clean.
And that will be one. That's a question I have coming up. But let me ask you this: at
Mm,
this age, should women of our age be hooking up? You know that term that they use when you know it's not going to be anything serious. The guy's pretty much telling you he's not interested in
mm,
anything serious, no commitments. He just wants to meet different people and enjoy sex. I mean, I personally think that's a red flag. Now, to those who
yeah,
want to indulge in that, I'm not judging you, but I
that
think you really have to be careful.
a good
Yeah.
relationship takes time to build. And that time you should spend communicating. You can still know that a person may have an affiliation to like you as another individual, but you take things in
This
space.
comes back to your first question last week, what
Hmm.
you said, Brie, and that is, what is your reason for dating?
Yes.
Hmm.
Yes.
So if you're dating, it depends on why you're dating. Are you dating to find a companion, or
Hmm.
are you dating to have a free, whatever, easy time, at one time thing? You know, a lot of people have different values,
True.
True.
so it
True.
depends on why they are dating.
Yes.
You
My
may,
value
may you
system
may
is not
grow.
for that.
You may grow to like the person.
For after one day,
Well, you can never tell. People getting married in 2 weeks now and never know each other from, but there's just something that happens. And
I
it's
would be afraid to
great.
do that.
But if sometimes, in most cases, sometimes they work amongst each other
well,
and you have an idea of the person's integrity and
if you know,
so
if you have prior knowledge of the person, then that's good.
Yes.
on. But I
You know,
still believe in proper timing and communication.
Yes. Yes.
that is important.
That is important.
And
Our
you have something which I didn't even think about, which is, you know that, you have some prior knowledge, you have known the
Yeah,
person, you have seen that
yeah,
person.
yes.
The dating scene is going to be different.
different.
Yes, definitely.
You have known the
Definitely.
person from, you know, Timbuk, whatever time, from
No,
time, and you're just going to meet this person. There are two different standards that you bring into
no,
this
that
dating
is
thing.
it.
Yes. I'd like to welcome my friend Joyce Lammy. Thank you so much for tuning in, Joyce.
And
Our
women
our
use your
dating websites.
intuition. Women, please use your intuition.
Mhm.
If
Yes.
it feels like this gentleman is out to play games, run.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, definitely, because we're too old for this
Well,
nonsense. I mean,
that's it.
yeah, we don't have time for that now. My next question is: are dating websites a good option?
Yes.
No,
Dating option.
this is my personal thing.
Date in today's world.
Yeah.
In today's
Colleen has a comment here. It says, I agree with Stephanie. It all depends on what you are looking for in the relationship, but one should always err on the side of caution.
Caution.
Definitely agree with that.
Yeah.
Definitely agree with that.
And use
So
your
why do you why so Sonia, why do you have the opinion that you have? And I'll ask you the same thing, Stephanie.
It yes, in today's world, the computer is a thing. It allows you to see a lot of people, and you can pick and choose from the list of what is being shown. It is your, if you don't do that, you're limiting your avenues for meeting people.
Mm-mm.
So you need to do that, but you have to do that cautiously. Use
Mhm.
wisdom when you're choosing people, because I often think some of these people are on these dating sites, maybe in prison,
Criminals. Yeah.
maybe in prison. So you're not going to divulge everything about yourself on the internet, where you live, your phone number. You're going to be cautious, but it is a good avenue to meet multiple people,
I'm old
I think.
school. I believe in having a friend who have a friend who know a friend. I can trace and say, somebody saw you and like you and would like to meet you. Then you can have your group setting coming. I don't believe, I'm very sorry, but the computer, um, I know quite a few people who met their
And
spouses.
they've had success. They've had,
They
there
have
have been some
success. You have to build
success
up that
stories out
relationship.
there.
But I'm not willing to take that risk.
I personally am not comfortable with the idea, to be honest with you. I
Yeah.
remember once a coworker talked me into trying the one of the websites, and I tell you, I took my profile down the same day I put it up
Mm,
because I felt so uncomfortable. I just didn't like the idea of going on a date with someone that I have no idea of their prior history. I don't There are no mutual friends that I can ask questions, and I just felt very uncomfortable. So I know it's not for me. I know some people have had success with it, but
mm.
I definitely, it's just something that creeps me out.
I
Yeah.
don't like it. Yeah.
I would not go against doing that if it is your thing.
Yes.
Someone's, because my daughter met her partner online, good guy,
Yes,
and
some people have had great success.
no,
Some
it's
people, but
not
it's
for
just not
me.
for me.
If you're looking somebody, then I
Yeah.
they choose, try, their options, their avenues.
It
Yes.
This
Now,
person,
do they do screenings? Are there background checks or anything like that for the people who register for these sites?
some of the
some
sites, some of the
some of the
sites,
sites
you
do
have
that.
to, they do. I would imagine that they would do
Okay.
background check.
Okay. How important is hygiene and grooming? I personally think that is extremely important. What's your opinion?
Extremely important.
Yes.
I'm very fussy about that because there again, if you're going to come in about with the STDs, that cleanliness or whatever could give you an idea that all may be safe. But then again, we won't go into sex as Christians until marriage or whatever.
But would you say that a person, it shows that they've taken some effort? I mean, if you go on a date and you're smelling, the person has a body odor, and
Amen.
it's like you're thinking he couldn't even take a shower before coming on a date. I mean, what's your opinion on that?
No, if he's coming on a date with me, Sonia Wilson,
I'm looking.
he must smell good,
Yes.
dress, decently. Don't have to be fussy dresser. Men, your shoes must be nicely polished and or look clean. Because I know some men they don't put polish from the day they bought the shoes. They don't put. It tells me that you have some interest, some in yourself,
Yes.
not just for
Pride in
me alone,
yourself.
but as another individual. You take care. I mean, I remember my brothers when the girls usually come around, they have to say, "This my cologne smell good? Is it too
Yes.
strong
Yes.
or whatever?" So you take some pride.
Yes,
I agree. What's your opinion,
you
Stephanie?
said some of what I was going to say. I start looking from the foot right up to the head.
And the nails,
Everything. Your
your
shoe
nails.
must be clean. Your pants, your clothes, your pants and your shirt must look good. Your nails, your hair, everything. That's why I'm not
Do
married.
you agree? Do you agree like your clothes should be ironed?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
Well, if
yes. It
it's a t-shirt and
depends.
you're
It's
going
a
on
t-shirt.
hiking, uh,
Yes.
that's okay
Depends on the occasion.
on the cake. But or but if you're going to a special occasion or whatever, dress nicely.
Yeah.
We put a lot of thing in it to dress and look pretty and well for you.
Can you imagine
So
going out, meeting your date, and you look so good and he looks so. I said, okay, I'm going home to change my clothes.
That's a turn off. I mean, that's a turn off. I do believe that both parties should put in some effort. I
but
mean, you don't have to go overboard. It doesn't necessarily have to be designer clothing,
yeah,
but I think it should show that, you know what, I cared enough to look decent. And you, not just for the date, you want to know that this is how the person carries themselves on a regular basis.
Yes.
and since we're on the STD, I sorry I have to go back to that because I know
Okay.
many times we don't like to talk.
Yeah.
Men have a way of when they're sitting, they spread their legs. Use your nostril to find out what's going on in certain sections. When I say you don't put your nostrils down there, but there are sometimes men, whether they're leaking urine or they just had a date with maybe another lady or whatever.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, make sure that things like that, you have to be sensitive. And the same goes for the guys with women. If you see a woman, gonorrhea has a specific odor. Chlamydia have a specific odor. All these STDs have specific odors that if you use your nostril, I'm sitting right here, and I'm just using Stephanie as a thing. I could tell if something is going on down there just at the level that I am
See,
at.
I didn't know that. I honestly did.
Because
I
all
did
these
not know that.
STDs have specific odors. Well, I'm nurse, so I can identify them. But apart from that, you know that that is not a normal Irish Spring smell coming or whatever. Something is wrong. It's an ill odor that is coming from there.
Yes.
And you have to be
I,
sensible.
I think the odor goes with the way you dress too. Don't you
It
think?
doesn't matter. They can be well dressed and there's an odor there. It doesn't matter because once you're infected, you will, don't care if you shower, just shower. By the time you walk around 2 steps and so on, you will have it because it's something coming out from the body.
Wow. See, that's why we have to have conversations like this so that we can learn. I mean, I think it's so important. Colleen is saying one should dress appropriately for the occasion. And I definitely agree with that.
So, is this odor something that emits also from your breath? Can you?
It depends, like with if you have sores in the mouth, you can have a foul odor. And we all know what a toothbrush or mouthwash smells like. We're not going to say that the whole day you're going to have that fresh smell,
Right, right.
but there are people who have sore gums, um, canker sores, which is the herpes, and you have to be looking. If you notice somebody having these little bubble water bumps at the side, they call it night fever, but be careful with men. It could be somebody doing certain drugs. Excuse me on online,
Speak
but I'll
loud.
speak. I'll speak as it is. If somebody is having these sores on the mouth, which is derivative of herpes,
Yes.
you may have drainage and a scent. Now, if you're going to look at that mouth and go and do all the nice kissing, you bet you're going to get it.
But you wouldn't be even kissing if the mouth smells.
Well, you wouldn't be doing it with
But
home.
if you see all that, I mean, that's a red flag
All
right there. I'm
that,
sorry. Oh my gosh.
On a first date, to remember. But
you know,
we're going a little bit beyond first date sometimes, right? Bree?
well,
Yeah, I
anytime.
mean,
I can
but I
say,
think what, I would like the viewers to really stop and think about is we have to pay attention.
Yeah.
We have to pay attention. maybe you haven't dated in 20, 30 years. You've
Yes.
been excited and looking forward to this date with a lot of anticipation. But I
Yes.
would rather go home feeling disappointed, but knowing that I did not make any mistakes.
That's it.
Because, I think it's always better to be patient
Yeah.
and just trust that the right person will come along. And I think that, you know, more and more women like are forming travel groups. They're traveling, they're doing activities together. So I think that you can have fun in the meantime. Find ways. If you don't like to travel alone, travel with friends. I went on a cruise a few months ago with a friend. I'm hoping to take a couple more cruises this year. I love cruising. I don't necessarily like to travel alone, but I'm like, if I have to, I will. So I think that we don't have to put a timeline on ourselves. Like, you know what? Here I am. I'm 60 and time is running out and I want to go on a date. I think we can date ourselves, if that makes sense. I think that we can find ways to enjoy our own company until the right person comes along. I've heard people talk about going out to dinner by themselves, going to the movies on their own. So I think that it's okay to learn how to enjoy your own company until the right person comes along.
Everybody's different. I have no problem going to dinner on my own, but it's nice to have company.
Oh, definitely. I
That
definitely agree with that.
occasion somebody may come and said, "Oh, you're alone at the table. Do you mind if I join you? He looks decent. He so far smells good. Looks like somebody who maybe I would think of." And maybe you sits there and you have a nice conversation.
Yes.
It's just you have to recognize, use your intuition. That's all I can tell in a woman.
I think that we have to come from a place of being open, but I
Mhm.
think at the same time, we have to not come from a place of desperation.
Yeah.
I think that is very, very important.
That's very important.
Um, Let me ask you both this. What if after a few dates, your date is asking for loans and hinting to move in, to move in with you?
Yeah.
I mean, this really happens. This really happens. So, because there are women who they own beautiful homes, they have great careers, and they
Pyramid.
meet someone, and next thing you know, this guy's moving in, getting loans. Like I said, I've watched a lot of these crazy documentaries. So, what's your opinion on that?
For me, if you can't look after me, then you can't be in my home. If
Now,
somebody,
what if now? I'm sorry, not meaning to cut you up, but I want to throw this in.
yeah,
What if when you met the guy in the beginning, the first few dates, he went all out? He spent a lot of money on you. And then all of a sudden his money is tied up into this account, that account. So he needs a
it's a
loan.
loan.
Don't you think that's a red flag?
Scammer, scammer.
It happens.
Why is he dating? I would certainly be
There are
embarrassed.
banks, the credit unions.
Yes.
Easy in North America to get a credit card or whatever. It tells me two things. He's not good money management person, and he's going to do the same thing with you, sweep you clean.
Yes.
So my father always tell me, if you know the boyfriend can't buy you a dinner on his own, he won't be able to look after you as a wife. And I mean, I know things happen in life whereby you maybe with a person and they go through some hardship. You still have to be cautious in how you
Yes.
move forward.
Yes. Yes. Colleen is saying run as far away as possible. You will have trouble following you around. And,
That's
and
right.
and that is true. I mean, now what if this person wants to move in with you and you're thinking, oh, we have great chemistry and oh, it would be so nice to have that companionship.
That I love bombing, gaslighting,
Yes. Yes.
narcissist. We don't know
Yes.
which one of them it is.
As a Christian, you leave mom and dad and you move in under the umbrella of marriage.
Yes.
You know,
Uh,
things happen at
and
times.
that shouldn't be different, not because you're older.
Older.
You know,
Right.
you have the
Right.
same principles.
Right.
That's it.
You want to have somebody who can take care of himself. I mean, he might want to move in, but you must
You
have
pay my
money.
rent.
You must have money. I wouldn't, I don't know. I wouldn't be talking about that so quickly. As well, maybe on a date would maybe discuss that. Yes.
But the thing is, this is something that happens to women.
But
People out of
It does.
it
out of
It
does.
does.
loneliness, they make poor choices. And I
Yeah.
think that if a person is hinting to move in with you, then you have to ask yourself why.
Yes.
And it's like, you know what? Hey, I'm not in a rush. I'm not in a rush. Um, and I would really think twice about that individual because it would make me wonder, is this a pattern where this
Yeah.
individual is moving from
Same.
woman to woman? Because you have some people that they say
Mhm.
that they don't necessarily fall in love with you. They may fall in love with your lifestyle.
Mhm.
They may fall in love with your bank account, fall in
This,
love
this,
with your home and the life that you're living.
I would like him to say if he has that intention. Maybe you could come and live with me, right? That sounds different from a man coming to live with me, because it means that he has something already there that I can come in, and it's now going to be my choice to move
um,
in or not. But if you're saying, can I come and live in, what do you have? Why you wanted to come and live with me? Normally the
there's
man is the head, he's a provider. That's how it
that's
is. I
it.
mean,
That's it.
that hasn't changed.
And you have to be
Yes.
careful because if this person have children, so
Hmm.
he's from a broken marriage,
Yes.
has children that he has to be
Hmm.
paying child support. You have your children there. You have
Hmm.
to think about what goes on in the home,
Yeah.
how those kids, especially these teenagers, are well informed about mom having relationship, boyfriend coming sleeping over. He eats everything out of the fridge. I can't even get something to eat for myself. Children do absorb these things,
Yes, it's
and
true.
so you have to be
True.
careful.
It's true. I think we have to be very careful. I'd like to welcome Andrew and I'd like to welcome my mom. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. The other day I watched a video that I thought was very interesting. This
Hmm.
young man, he purchased a home and he said his parents got divorced and he allowed his mother to move in with him.
Yeah.
So he said his mom was doing the dating website thing and she met this guy. Within a few months she married him and she moved the guy into his
Mm-mm.
home. This was the son's home. And
No,
he said that the guy started complaining and saying that two men can't live in the same house.
and
So
he's
he
right.
was saying to himself, why is this man saying that? And then he said the guy pulled him aside one day and said, I think it's time for you to move out of this house and find your own place. So he said it looks like his mom lied to the guy that
Yeah.
it was her place. But he
Yeah.
said he was really ticked off because it's like, I allowed you to move into my home and you're trying to put me out of my own place.
But
So he
even
told
so,
the guy he had to leave. He told the guy, you have to leave. And he said his mother was upset with him. But I said, how could you move into a house with a woman and her son was living there? They had an arrangement by the looks of it. Why would you think it's your place to put the woman's son out? So that tells me he had an ulterior motive.
he should not have moved into the mother's house either. She should have moved into his house, not he in
Well,
hers.
apparently he didn't have
But
one.
the thing is, I have if I may tell a story too.
Sure.
I know of a woman. She had children. She married this guy, and shortly after she was pronounced with cancer, she had cancer and died.
Mhm.
And the house for the mother, the husband, chased out her children
Mhm.
and
Yes,
took
that
full
happens.
control of that house that their father might have died and left for them, for the
These
wife.
are the things that I think we have to think about.
Yeah,
These are the
you have to.
conversations. If it's
Yeah.
getting serious, that you really have to take these things into account. Now, let me ask you this, because I think at this age, when you get involved with someone of a certain age, you have to ask yourself, if this person should get sick, am I willing to be there for that person? Am I willing to change a diaper if I have to?
I
Am I
agree.
willing to do that for this individual?
Obviously, at that stage, for me, I can only tell you, if I'm married to him, yes, I would have to take on that
Yes.
responsibility.
Yes.
And whatever issues, whatever business or thing. And these are things that we should discuss before
Yes,
the ring goes on.
I agree.
And you need to protect yourself, both the man and the woman, because you have some women, they are gorgons. When
Yes,
they're ready to go after a man with a little money,
it's
he
true.
will sweep you clean. You
That is
know,
so true
so
too.
so you have to sit and discuss these things and make sure both of you
Don't be in
make
a
provision for your
Yes,
children,
I
adult
definitely
kids.
agree on that.
don't be
Even
I
if they're
definitely
adult
agree.
kids, you make some provision,
no
work
Yes,
it
reason.
and I'm
out.
not saying, and I do believe you should leave something for your spouse if you choose to, but I believe that you
Yes.
should always never forget your children. I
Yes.
mean,
No,
that's just my opinion.
no.
Um,
Yes.
And
so,
both
and
sides, not just the woman.
right, both
Both,
Both
sides,
sides.
both
both
sides,
Yeah.
sides. Both.
definitely both sides.
Yeah.
When should you consider introducing the individual that you're dating to family and friends? Personally, I mean, I've not dated in a long time, but I would have to know it's serious
Yeah.
before I introduce someone to my children.
Yes. I agree with that.
Yes. True. True.
If the person come by your house, not the bedroom now of the house, but by just visit.
Well, this is not the first date anymore.
It's not the first date, and the especially if it's adult children, they're going to realize something is
Yes.
going on. So if it's adult children and you're sure about this person and you really want to take it a step further, I would introduce them as a friend.
Yes.
Not, I didn't say fiance or partner, as a friend first, most,
Yes.
and then see what happens from there. But in some cases where maybe 2 days out of the week the person sleep over by you and that sort of thing, I think you need to train. Have You have children, even though they may be adult, but have some principle and
What if your children don't want you to date? What if your children do
and the
not like
adult
this
ones won't.
individual and they tell
The
you,
adult
I don't want
ones
you to date
won't.
this person?
Because you remember, most of these kids now, they know the law.
Yes.
They know the division of properties and that sort of thing.
Yes.
And when they see a stranger come in, they know that
Yes.
that stranger is coming to get his cut of half. When if you weren't in the picture, I would have gotten everything.
That's why I don't date a pop up.
So that is it. You must get work
But
something
I think
out.
that children should understand too. You know what?
Yes.
Parents want
They should
companionship too.
understand. They possibly are on their own and they don't want to see their mom or dad,
Well,
whoever it is, alone.
if
Yes.
if there
And they trust you that you will make good
decisions,
decisions.
that's
And you
true.
have also
Yes.
reassured them that whatever decision that you make, they will not be left out of it.
Well, that is
Exactly, exactly. And you know what? I feel like this. I can't tell my kids who to date or what to do. So I
no.
would expect the same respect at the
Mhm.
end of the day. So, yeah, but I think these are the discussions that we should be
But
having. And
Having, yeah.
but sometimes your children know very well that that person that you're with is not good. I had a friend, at least when my husband died when I was in my 40s. And I had this long-term kind of relationship. My children did not love or could not take a bone in this person from the beginning.
yes,
And I listened to them, I would have been wise up by some years. I would not have wasted those time
yeah,
with that person.
Mhm.
yeah,
From the beginning, that person was no good.
yeah,
And
yeah,
they saw it from the beginning. So
yeah,
sometimes your children, I don't know where their intuition is, but they are wise enough to help you to make your decisions. If your
Yeah.
child don't like that person,
And your kids love you at the end of the day, so
yes.
you would expect that your kids want the best for you. Now, this
Mhm.
question here is I'm just curious how you will feel about this question. If you meet your date at church, does it mean that it's okay to let your guard down? I know that some
No,
people think,
no,
oh, he's in the church,
They
so he
might be
must
the
be a
worst.
great
no,
guy. What's your opinion?
They
no.
might be the worst.
I was
You,
about to say that.
you treat him as another individual
Yes.
with certain needs and certain principles, you hope, and see what it's all about, where it will take you. And a man who put God first, not God's, God
You would
first.
hope.
You have to,
I'm hoping
know,
I want to make sure he has God first, and there's certain things I'm expecting him to
some
do.
people play a. I watched a documentary years ago, and this was a documentary about AIDS and HIV. And
Hmm.
there was a woman that was in her 60s. She had been on her own for a while, and she met a guy in the church that was a deacon.
Hmm.
And, she married the guy, and
Hmm.
she ended up, she got AIDS. And what hurt her was she was going through his Bible and
Hmm.
she found his positive test, his positive HIV test.
Hmm.
And she went and had herself tested because she talked about feeling sick. And it turned out that she caught HIV from him. And the pastor of her church was in the documentary, and he said he was very upset to know that this man was a deacon in the church. And he said if he had told the woman that he had tested positive, maybe she would have still married him, but she would have, used, she would have taken precautions, necessary precautions. But she believed he was a man of God and she trusted him. And I will never forget, I felt so sad for this lady because you could tell that she tried to live a good life. And she felt, here, I met this man in the church. He's a deacon. Like I've heard women say, oh, I felt like God sent me this man. And it's like sometimes we lie on God. God did not send us these demons. I hate to say it, but it's true.
Mhm.
So I think we have to be careful. Yeah, we may have met the man. He could be the pastor of the church. I think we still have to be cautious.
Oh, yes. And
Definitely.
you make connection with people in different ways.
Yes.
And we'll not know everything about a person, especially their private health
Yes.
status, lives, and so on. But hopefully, you always pray that this person is one of integrity and wouldn't lie to me like that. But it happens.
It
I
does.
I saw, referring to YouTube, I saw a video on YouTube with regards to that. The girl caught AIDS.
Hmm.
Or she's well, somebody's a carrier. I'm not sure if it's
Yeah.
she.
Hmm.
She was a carrier. And she said, if you didn't ask me, why am I going to tell you? It's your responsibility to ask if I have
That
AIDS.
is scary.
And some people get upset when you ask them that question.
Yes.
But I believe protecting myself, I need to know. I said, some guys will tell you in my wild days, I was with everybody. So I don't know, I may have it and I don't have it. And you listen to things like
You
that.
have to pay attention to those red
Yeah.
flags. You have
So
to.
So this is where you ask direct questions
yeah.
in the dating stage. Tell me what is all the things I need to know about you. Be honest so I can make my wise decision.
I
You know,
agree. I
It's
agree. I mean,
sad, but
we live in a world where, I mean, I hate to say it, but there are some wicked people out there.
yes.
devious,
There are people out
devious.
there that they figure that they're entitled to
Mm-hmm.
what you have. They met you and you had all this stuff and they just think that they're entitled to it. And you really have to be careful because there are people out there with ulterior motives. I'm not saying that it's
Mhm.
impossible for us to attract,
Yes.
having that wonderful person in our lives, but I do think we have to be very careful We
Yeah.
have to be, as we get older, I mean, wisdom. And, God says if we ask Him for it, He will give it to us. I think we have to be very mindful on this.
Yes.
So I'd like to ask you, ladies, what are your closing thoughts? So I'll start with you, Sonia. What are your closing thoughts on this topic?
It's hard.
Mhm.
Women, use your intuition.
Men too.
Yes.
Men too. But
Yeah.
women are the ones somehow we gifted with it more.
Mhm.
Use the five senses God gave you: smell, your hearing, your mouth. And I'm not telling you how to use it, that's beyond the point. But make sure that you can use them to know what this individual is coming to you with. And it must be a person with shared faith. And shared faith is important to me because both of you believe in a God and believe in His principle and believe in His word. And you get yourself connected to people that are around that person of such faith. Make sure you talk to them and you listen to any character description they may tell you. And if it's something that you don't think that person is like that, if it's not so it go, it's something near to so.
Yes.
So make sure you get all of that information. And
Yes.
both of you should be in unity, in purpose. And you read Galatians 5:22 to 23. There should be peace, joy, and trust in God's plan. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. I'm going to read Colleen's comment before you start, Stephanie. She says, at this stage in our lives, I think you should ask and get the person you're interested in tested for STDs before sleeping with them. And that is a must. I do
Mhm.
believe if you're going there, you have to take that precaution. Stephanie, your
Yes.
closing thoughts?
My
It's
my closing thoughts would be to emphasize. I would emphasize open communication,
no,
Yes.
open communication, and self value. Know
that's
Yes.
yourself, what you know, what you're about, all of that. Next point is I would take time to prioritize what are the values and your safety, safety things around you. What safety think values, what you're going to take about them and yourself, right? The next is I would take time to embrace others, take time to build trust, take
Yes.
time to build trust in that person, and it's never too late to build meaningful, because it's never too late to build meaningful relationships.
mhm,
I
You can
definitely
build
agree.
meaningful relationship, but take time. There should be
mhm,
no rush in going through. It doesn't matter age. Um,
Yes.
in any situation, at any age, take time to build trust.
mhm,
I
No,
definitely agree. I think, going into this, we really to navigate through the whole thing. I think it begins with knowing why we want to date, knowing what we're about, knowing that we feel good about ourselves, knowing that we have that self love. We're not going into this looking for someone to fill a hole,
yes,
because that hole has already been filled by God.
already.
I firmly believe that. And I believe that, when a person is not good for us, we usually hear what we want to hear
mhm,
because the signs will be there. So
mhm,
we have to learn to, you know what? I'm not wasting his time and I'm not wasting mine. I'm moving on. And I think learning to enjoy your own company, getting to know yourself, there are so many things that we can do for hobbies and things of that nature. Loneliness is a tough one. Boredom is another one. But I think that we can prayerfully find the friends, find the connections, and find the interests to fulfill our needs until we meet that person that God has for us. I mean, I've been on my own for the past few years, and I can tell you that it's had its ups and downs, but I've really gotten to know myself. And I really believe now when I meet someone, I'll be more prepared, and I think I would make better choices because I've shared openly before. I've made poor choices in the past, but
Mhm.
feeling the way that I feel about myself now, I just couldn't see myself willing to settle for less anymore.
Yeah,
Mhm. Mhm.
it's
You
that's
know,
it's- that is true.
I I really enjoyed this conversation with you ladies,
Mhm.
and I have to get with you to find out when you guys can come back because I would like to dig more into this whole relationship thing. I
Mhm.
think we as women, especially as church women, we need to have more of these authentic conversations, and stop burying our heads in the sands, pretending that we don't have desires, that we don't have needs, and that we don't want certain things in life. Who wouldn't want to go out on a date with a great guy? I mean, who
That's right.
wouldn't? But at the end of the and we have to also know that, oh,
Yeah,
you know what, just because I'm this age, it doesn't mean that we're unworthy, and it doesn't mean that we don't have value. Women our age, the experience that we have, the life experience. And I think a lot of us bring so much to the table, and
Mhm.
we have to own it and have confidence in ourselves, you know.
Mhm.
there's there's one I may say add that I have a friend who would would date just younger people than herself.
A cougar.
So that's another topic.
Yes, yes,
It's just a preference.
But it's for men
yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Men, it's the
Yeah.
same thing. Men don't want to date people
It's
their own
you
age.
know,
They want to go young
and it's
kids.
not the age because the maturity of the person at whatever age is important. But
Yes,
I don't think age should be a factor.
I agree. I mean, I
Sure.
think it's like you said, it's preference. It's a personal preference. Yeah. Yeah.
You know.
So, I would, like I said, I would love to talk more about relationships, the dating process,
Mhm.
things of that nature, because, like I said, I think that there are a lot of women who have had terrible experiences.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
embarrassed to talk about them. I think there are men out there too who have had pretty bad experiences. And I think if we have these honest discussions,
Yes. Yes.
I think it can help a lot of people. We may not see a lot of comments, but I believe people are absorbing what we have talked about because a lot of people have had bad experiences. But I
Yeah.
think that we can all learn from each other. I can
Mm.
learn from your bad experience, and you can learn from mine. And us discussing it can help us to find, those great experiences that we all would like.
Oh yeah.
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 Opal, thank you so much for tuning in. We're about to sign off, but I'm asking you to watch part one and then come back and watch part two. And please feel free to share this video, everyone. And like I said, ladies, thank you so much for this because what I enjoyed about this conversation was your authenticity. You know,
Yes.
you were honest, and I think it made the conversation real. And I learned a lot from you guys. I really did. So I'm hoping we'll be able to do this again soon.
Okay.
Take care, ladies. Good night,
Okay. Bye.
everyone.
Bye,
I hope
Thanks for being
everyone's
everybody.
here.
having a blessed
Bye.
week. Take care.